Cool. Do we have stuff to talk about in the Palantir this week?
There was a fair few comments. Probably something.
Oh, was the one on what our top 10 models are, like Jamie and James did?
Yeah, someone picked up on that because we said we were going to do the videos for it. Someone said, you know, what are the... Which we could do, I suppose.
Do we have a top 10? Do you have a top 10?
I've had to think about it. I think I've probably got up to about 8 or something.
Okay.
Something like that. But actually, that reminds me. Because thinking about that, I wanted to do it with actually having the models. And I realised that something I really love from the collection, I didn't have. So I've ordered it. Can you guess what it is?
Tariel.
No. Gosh, good, but
not top 10.
Nah.
Is it a Man of Numenor?
Plastic or metal?
Plastic.
No.
Metal?
No. They're awful.
Not in top 10.
No.
Okay.
Shall I give you a hand?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, there's a lot of models.
Yeah, there are.
It is Gandalf on Cart.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a cool model, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite old now as well. But I've always loved it, and I think because it was like a bit of a collector's piece.
You hadn't got it before.
I'd never got it.
Yeah.
I think, you know, some people use it in the game, but I didn't think it was worth it. So I have ordered it and...
Oh wow. Impromptu unboxing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Thought I'd check it out and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm well chuffed with this.
Yeah.
Because I know you can get it now in like Finecast and stuff, but this is the original.
The original one?
Version. And so it's out of production.
Oh wow.
But it was...
The metal one?
The first one.
First one.
Yeah, but it was pretty expensive.
Yeah?
Pretty pricey.
So, I don't know how much... What's pretty pricey for you? £295?
No, it's not metal.
Okay.
But obviously it is out of production, but I think I ended up getting it for 74 quid, something like that, plus postage. But it's been out of production.
Yeah.
And I really didn't want the Finecast one.
You can just get the Finecast one for
I didn't want the
cheaper.
Finecast one. This is the first one they made of it.
Okay.
The original one.
Right.
So that's cool. But I'm quite excited.
You're gonna get stuck in?
I'm gonna get stuck in. But have you got this? Have you got the original one?
I've only got the Finecast one, I don't have the original one. So
Yeah.
it'll be cool to see actually.
Yeah, because this is the plastic version.
Plastic version?
Yeah, first one.
There's a plastic version?
Yeah.
Is this like the ones that Denmark Spectre and that collect? Like those ones that weren't
released? Like the mass release thing. The first version of it, yeah. When it was first released, it was plastic.
Am I just misremembering? Probably.
I think so. This guy was on eBay, and he was
well wrapped, isn't it?
Yeah, and he was saying that it was the like first version of it. And it's pro painted.
Oh, you've got it painted?
Yeah. So it's super rare and pro painted.
Oh wow.
Which is pretty cool.
That must have been why it was so expensive.
Plastic Gandalf on Cart. Oh yeah, check that out. Look at that. That is pretty cool. And Gandalf is coming off. Look at that, man. You haven't seen that about a lot, have you?
I have not.
You have to provide your own base, obviously.
Okay.
And this is actually, if you look, go way back when, this is really cool because this is actually when the plastic models used to be a lot easier to convert. Because you can, let's take Gandalf off, you can actually take that bit off, for example, and just put that on there. You don't need glue or anything.
Right.
This is what their plastic stuff used to be like. But it's pretty cool. And only 74 quid. Which is pretty good.
Yeah, you've done absolute steal.
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
You're an idiot. You're an idiot with far too much money. Why are we always laughing before it starts?
We have so much fun together. Welcome, Strategy Battle Gamers, to another GBHL YouTube video. You have your host, GBHL Damian.
And GBHL Tom.
And this is episode 26 of
The Palantir.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
We're back.
We are back.
And we're
where
back
we belong.
in Twickenham, on the sofa. On the small sofa. I felt really far apart from you. It was sad last time.
Emotionally, there was a distance.
Yeah.
Got the mouse.
Yeah.
There you go.
Why not?
So the mouse pass, classic Palantir.
Yeah.
And yes, we are back with another week of Irreverent Chatter. And as always here on the Palantir, everything that we're about to say is merely our opinions and our own viewpoints and does not represent the views of the channel or the Great British Hobby League or any other formal organisation, such as W.H. Smith.
Strong.
So,
yeah, without further ado, let's just
as always,
crack on with tea.
no, what are we doing?
A tea toast.
Two.
It's to Ross Diggle.
Ross Diggle.
There you go, Ross.
There you go, Ross. From Feastable Brendan? Is that,
Yes,
there we go? Yeah.
it is indeed. So yeah, Ross, you may have seen him on the channel in the Fallen Realms back rep
Against James.
where it was Isengard against Easterlings, Camille,
Yes, I believe so.
and Canned.
I don't think I've watched that one. Oh no, I have watched that one. Yeah, it's where he's got a fell beast and
Yes.
James is Isengard and he's compelling Rascal towards him.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
that's
Yeah.
one.
I have watched that one.
So yeah, and talking of James, Ross Diggle was thinking about passing the tea toast on to James.
He did a poll, didn't he? On the
Yeah. But he's not passed it on
He's
to
not.
James, which we feel great about because we need a backup for when someone
Yeah.
doesn't. So James is firmly in pole position for that one, unless there's another GBHL host who comes on
Daisy.
in the meantime. Oh, Daisy,
Emma.
Lily,
Tifa.
Tifa, they could all jump in.
So he passed it on. So yeah, it's now with
he's passed
Ross.
it on to JT Noble.
Oh, Ross has passed it on this week.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm so out of the loop.
You are.
Yeah, so he's passed it on to JT.
Yeah.
Well, JT of Awkward Battles.
No, he's not.
No?
I'm out of the loop too. What have we done? We had it last week.
I don't know, it's your agenda.
I know, I couldn't remember.
Yeah, so...
Oh, he's thanking him.
He's
so it's
thanking
not for
Ben.
Ross Diggle, so we need to go back and film.
No, he is. It's Ross thanking Ben for giving it
but
to
we
him.
gave Ross the tea toast when it should be for JT.
Oh. Yeah.
So we done it wrong.
Have we?
Yeah.
Don't we do it? See, I get confused about this every week. Don't we give it to Ross this week?
No, we gave it to him last week.
Do we?
Yeah, we must have done.
Alright, well, look. Here's a triple toast to
Yeah.
Brennan and Ross and JT.
JT.
Because you all
Triple
deserve it.
toast.
Yeah, triple toast.
Hey.
Right. That does not mean you have to pass it on to 3 different people.
It's not a triple
It's
loop,
not.
triple
None
tea
of that.
toast
No.
loop.
We're just a bit confused.
Yeah, as you can see,
It's gone to JT.
Yes.
That's the important information. JT of Awkward Battles. Hooray.
we're a bit off our game, clearly, because we've been concentrating on other stuff.
We have. And JT will come up when we talk about upcoming events.
Mm.
Because as of today,
Yeah.
a very exciting event went as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's the tea.
Yeah, and JT, so he runs the store at Awkward. There's quite a few videos in his store, and James did a store opening one. It's a long time ago now. When did he open the store? It was quite early on in
He
the channel.
opened the store.
Well, no, when the store opened, James went and did a little video.
Right, I was going to say,
No, he didn't cut any-
James was
cut some
ribbon. Like, and JT's inside going, what are you doing? So I'm opening the store. But, yes, he did. He's done a few battle raps with JT.
Yeah, and so JT, we have a little bit of news about.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to elaborate?
Yes, so are we going into... I thought this would come up later, but no, we're playing on to this.
Well, because JT's the segue.
JT is the segue indeed, but the segue into SBG.
Yeah,
Yes?
but we'll talk about...
So JT...
We're doing well today.
Because you're just going massively off-piste. So JT has today put on sale, today, yesterday actually, to put on sale tickets for his latest event. So it's a bunch of upcoming events that we'll talk about in a minute. But tickets are now on sale for the Awkward Taking of Smaug, which looks like being an incredibly cool and very, very different event.
So, point 1, why is it called the Taking of Smaug?
It's called the Taking of Smaug because the first prize for this event is Smaug. What? Yes, that's right, Damian. It's Smaug.
Yes.
The Smaug, real Smaug. It's not a
Real
trick.
Smaug. No. £295 worth of trick.
Absolutely. That's 1,600 Freddos or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is awesome. I mean, that's
it's incredible.
incredible. and I can't go, and I'm gutted.
You wouldn't win anyway, don't kid yourself.
You know what? If there was a tournament for Smaug, the Ferals would come out of retirement. They would absolutely. It's 750 points. Yeah, it's literally made for them. Yeah.
Well, where are you?
I'm at a gig. I know. It's only one night, but here's the thing. It's an Alkaline Trio gig with one of my mates, and we generally catch up when we go to Alkaline Trio gigs. And we had tickets for them last year, and I cancelled to go on a stag do. And now we've got tickets again.
It's more important than a stag do.
Well, yes, but I can't cancel them again.
You can.
And it's in London. So it'd be like...
Do Alkaline Trio not do other stuff? Other venues?
They do, but we've got tickets. I don't know, this is dull. Alright, let's not do this. But I don't know, hopefully something might get sorted out. But I was, gutted. Yeah. But it's a 2-day extravaganza, July the 4th and July the 5th.
And you're meant to bring a tent.
Yes. Because it's outside. It's camping.
Yeah, it's in a field.
Big field.
Capacity of 300 people, so pretty big field. Well, the games will be undercover.
Yeah, there's a big marquee apparently.
Yeah. So don't worry about your models getting wet or anything. It's going to be fine. But yeah, it's going to be cool.
So very different
Outside.
And he hasn't confirmed the details, but things that have been rumoured and talked about, things like a hog roast, a bouncy castle, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and there are non-tournament tickets, so it seems as if people can come and not have to do the tournament. So this would be a good one to bring potentially somebody to, or a mate who's into wargaming but doesn't want to play maybe themselves, because they can get involved with some other stuff at the same time.
So there are 48 tournament tickets available for that, which will be a pretty big event. And interestingly, again, for the Smaug thing, all the opponents are random. I mean, that's amazing to have entirely random opponents with a prize like that. So, because JT says fun comes first, awkward. So that's what's out.
And a massive prize.
And a dragon. Yeah, fun and a dragon come first.
So it's incredibly generous of JT. Now, the tickets are slightly more expensive than a usual tournament, but given that Smaug's the prize and it's in the field, and this, you'd have to pay for you don't pay for your accommodation for this. Tickets £50. Yeah. Well, usually tickets are in the range for a 2-day tournament, in the range of 15 to 30. Would you say? For
a 2-day tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in that. Yeah.
For one person?
Yeah, probably I'd expect to pay at least £20.
Yeah. But then your accommodation on that, and you're looking at above 50.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So it's actually a really good value.
So it's kind of like a nerd fest, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like a little festival.
Summer Nerd, Glastonbury.
So it should be awesome. Really, really good. And tickets for that are now on sale, so go and check out the Facebook group.
Yeah, and the reason we were kind of linking that to SBG is because we're kind of in an alliance with JT.
An awkward alliance.
An awkward alliance, yes.
JT has very kindly kind of stepped up, and will now you'll see they've donated prizes for our SBG issue 2 prize fund, and they've come from Awkward Battle. So you will see us working together in the future, which is awesome. So the magazine and Awkward Battles have formed an Awkward Alliance. And as part of that fun little competition is that if you ring up Awkward Battles and you quote the code Awkward Alliance, you get entered into the raffle to win some
cool dice.
Awkward dice. Yeah. Some exclusive Awkward dice. So if you would like that and you want to order anything, ring JT and say Awkward Alliance.
Or when you're doing it online, I guess, just pop that in the comment.
So there you go. So that's awesome. There's another event on sale. It's cool because we're now...
Yeah.
We were talking about the same events for a while. Yeah. But other events...
Yeah. So the Siege one, there was a post on the group, they seem to have single-handedly bought out the Warhammer Fantasy Castle.
Fortress, yeah. So this is Alistair King and Matt King's Siege doubles event. That is...
In Cardiff.
Yeah, in Cardiff.
It's in...
5th of May, something like that?
Yeah.
It's between ours and... Yeah. It's early May.
We're well prepared as
and that's cool. Tickets still on sale for that. And what's kind of fun and interesting about this recently is they've sold out the Warhammer Fortress, and it's saying no longer available. So the Warhammer Fortress may be gone. That's the plastic fortress. And why I think this is particularly sad or worth noting is I think, and I've got nothing to back this up on based on the fact I'm old, that is the longest selling product on the website.
Really?
I can't. I'm not swearing it's ever, but it's certainly now the longest that's been.
More than the carry case.
Yeah,
When
definitely. The new carry cases were.
Or is that quite new?
Well, relatively, they were like late 90s.
Okay.
But Warhammer Siege, that version of it, came out around 95.
Okay.
Something like that.
And that's what you think is the oldest.
And that was then the Warhammer. I remember the Warhammer Fortress came out for that, and it's been on sale to this day.
Wow.
So that is on sale for 20 years.
Poignant moment.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anything else on that website that's been on there for 20 years.
Wow.
Which I think is quite...
Not even the website's been there for 20 years.
Yeah, it's a different website. But so there might have been something. I know, like some of the like metals were on there for a while. Like something like the Warhammer Ghouls, the old metal Ghouls. They were on there, but they were later and they've gone now.
Okay.
So they were maybe about 15 years or something. But yeah, I think that's right. So obviously, if there's anyone who has been around for that amount of time, say if I'm wrong. Second fun fact about the Warhammer Fortress. I know when you press play on this today, you didn't think you'd know any fun facts about the Warhammer Fortress.
Or about Gandalf and Car.
It is, to my knowledge, again, possibly not the only, but one of the only Games Workshop products that has ever dropped in price.
Wow.
I know! Fun fact about the Warhammer Fortress.
That is a fun fact.
And it came out at £75, because I remember getting the Siege book and being so excited, and then getting seeing the castle for £75 again. I can't get that.
Yeah.
And then it dropped at some point because presumably they were selling to £50, and then it crept up to 60. So yeah, true story.
Yeah, Christopher's got one.
It's awesome. It's a great kit.
Not painted up yet, but yeah, it's really cool. It's the right size as well for Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, it's great.
So.
Which is obviously what they've got for.
Yeah.
I ended up getting it. This is how bad it was selling. I don't know if I've told you this. I got it as a subscription gift. If you subscribe to White Dwarf, this is in the 90s, for 1 year, you got a £5 box of models, like 10 Wood Elves, 10 High Elves, whatever, yeah? And so that was cool.
Yeah.
And they ran an offer where if you subscribe for 2 years, which is twice as long, you got the Warhammer Fortress free.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
why didn't they do that when I subscribed for 2 years?
So I remember getting the phone, having to run downstairs to my mum and say, "Mum, can I please subscribe for 2 years? You get the Warhammer Fortress free." And she didn't seem as thrilled as I was. But yeah, that's where I got one.
It's on Saturday night to Sunday the 10th of May.
10th of May, okay.
There we go.
So yeah, tons of cool
scenery. It should be a really cool event. We've talked about it before on here, but yeah, it's going to be very, very different, and it should be really good fun to play out.
Absolutely.
And I think there are still tickets available for this one.
I think so, yeah.
So yeah, that should be really cool.
And between now and JT's event, there are 2 other events that I know of.
Yes.
One of which is ours.
Yes.
Our doubles event.
True.
Which is sold out. But there's a possibility there might be one team slot available. So that is the 24th?
Yeah.
24th, 25th, bank holiday weekend.
So it's still worth getting on the reserve list if you are interested.
If you are interested in coming along to an awesome fun doubles tournament where fun is absolutely fun and fluff is coming first.
And the prizes are going to be really good.
Yeah, the prizes are cool.
Yes.
You're going to want one of these prizes. I think so. You're going to see them and people
there's a good chance of you getting one.
Yeah, we've got loads of stuff as well. Loads of little things. There's a good chance of leaving with something. Yeah. So yeah, if you do want to come to that and you're not on the list, there is probably a team slot available, but get on the Facebook group and let us know. And the event before that is Desolation Stockport.
Yes.
Which is the next one.
Yes. And there's another one before JT's, the Mansfield one, isn't it?
Oh,
Riddles in the Woodhouse.
Yeah, on the 6th.
So that's at Slayer Gaming in Mansfield.
But yeah, Desolation Stockport is now in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
And JT's is July.
Yeah.
And then I think it's not confirmed on the date yet. There's another East Grinstead around July time.
Cool. Well, let's not talk about the events that we don't know about.
Okay.
But yeah, Desolation Stockport is obviously the one that's coming up. So if they are still selling tickets, it looks like it's going to be another record breaker. So make sure you get on that. Very excited to get up there.
We're excited for numerous reasons. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about. There's obviously Stockport is a fantastic venue.
Seeing Jamie's hair.
Seeing Jamie's hair. I thought you were going to say seeing James and Jamie, but he just
put
the hair.
Put him there and just.
Seeing James and Jamie. Because obviously we don't get to meet up as a force that often.
We invite them to the pub like every week. they can never make it.
Drop in for the Palantir.
Yeah, do you want to come down for a pint?
It's just lack of effort.
Never come.
Lack of effort on their part. Yeah. And then there's obviously the painting competition we talked about, where there's some good prizes for that.
£500? 250.
250. It's something.
It's a lot of
it's
money.
A lot of money
For painting a toy.
Yes.
So yeah, that's awesome.
Very generous, anonymous donator. And what else?
It
Was
sounds like
special?
that was a very generous, handsome, charming, anonymous donator wearing a green t-shirt.
I chipped in 10p.
It was not us.
I don't know. I thought they had one more thing.
They do. There is one more thing. It's very exciting, and we're nearly there. We're so demob happy about this. Bear in mind this is Tuesday night, but yes, we are now. It's all down to the printers, but 99% certain that SBG issue 2 will be released at Destination Stockport because it is finished. As you're watching this, it is finished. Well, it better be finished.
Well, it's at the printers, so it's
going to the printers on Thursday morning. It is finished. And we're so happy.
Yes. We sound it.
Yeah. The cover got released today.
Yeah, James Brown smashed the riddle.
Which is very cool.
Yeah, the anagram.
The riddle. The riddle is, look at these letters, rearrange them. Is that what you do? Did you never get the riddles in The Hobbit? Because you're just trying to rearrange all the letters. Like, egg, it's not in there. It doesn't make any sense. There's far more letters in boxes like Kinge's he or lid than there is in egg. Doesn't make any sense. Mom!
I
Stupid
really struggle
Hobbit!
with anagrams as well. Cannot figure out what they're on about.
So yeah, it's nearly done. Like we're finishing it tonight, and it's so nearly done.
And if you've not seen the cover, we're going to flash it up now.
There you go.
Yeah.
That is the cover of SBG issue 2. We hope you like it. Please let us know what you think.
Yeah.
And we haven't actually talked about this, but now it's Friday. I mean, what can we talk about it? Like we can talk about the cover.
Yeah.
The cover's out there. Like there's.
I don't know how much we can talk about.
I don't know, but we could draw their attention to some stuff.
Okay.
There's an Azog on there.
There is an Azog on there.
With 2 arms.
With 2 arms.
Can't buy that.
No.
Where'd that come from? Oh my god. Yep, we have a fairly awesome custom Azog. And the scenery. You see the whole Dimril gates there behind it. Maybe you'll see some more of that inside. And there's a is it the Gundabad Orc General?
Yeah, the Gundabad Orc General model.
He's there. Is that a Gundabad captain? I don't know. Hard to say. But yeah, as you can now see, we've been banging on for ages that there would be a theme, and the theme is the Battle of Azanolza.
Yes, it is.
The Dimril Dale. So you're watching this on a Friday. In a week's time, it'll be available at Destination Stockport exclusively to there.
Yes.
So you can get your grubby little mitts on it, and if you wish, obviously, and have a look.
Yeah. So it'll be at Destination Stockport exclusive for that weekend, and then people can donate from Monday onwards, and we'll start sending stuff out from Monday onwards.
Because it's been awesome. Thank you so much to everyone who's done this. The reaction to the cover's been awesome. I think when we started recording this, there's been like 110 likes or something. So thank you. All the comments on there, apart from the ones from like Macklin and Ian Marley's, Steve and James about filth. Yeah. But all the comments in there were like really supportive and like it genuinely helps because we do struggle. We got to. I think it's fun. There was James and Jamie got asked what their biggest fight was about like a few weeks ago. And what night was it? Was it Sunday night?
I was genuinely thinking it wasn't a fight, but it was our biggest. It was our tensest moment. We were Skyping, and someone was like, "You got to change this," and I was like, "I don't want to change this." I remember we were just yelling into computers at this point. It was like, "You got it." I was like, "We haven't got time to change this." Your argument was it could mess stuff up, and I'm like, it's no different to any other edit.
And I genuinely, I can see it from both. I think you were saying it will be better if you do it. Yeah. And it won't mess stuff up. And mine was it. People probably won't notice, and it might mess stuff up. Yeah. I think that was the thing. But yeah, it was our tensest moment.
We generally don't get tense with each other.
But it was like it's like 2 a.m.
Yeah, it was quite late.
Over Skype, when you're both just going no, no. And so we do struggle through. So having those like the comments like that, make sure you read them next day after you've slept and go, oh yeah, this is why I did it. So thank you very much for that.
There's 22,000 words that we have to troll through and check every single one.
Battle report was fun this time.
Yeah, battle report.
Battle report. Think about this. Do you italicise battle report? Do you capitalise battle report? This month's battle report making a battle report.
Yeah, because sometimes you're talking about the article itself, and sometimes you're talking about a generic battle report, so that's always fun.
Unbelievable.
The conversations we have.
Things we go through. But yes, it's nearly there, and it's very exciting, and we love it, and we promise it's better than the first one.
Yeah.
So much better. And you've already seen some of that in the figures and the scenery and the photography,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So yes, we're very excited about finally sharing that with you and seeing what you'll think.
Yep. In terms of the PDF, obviously we made that available for free, and we will be doing the exact same this time, of course. But what we're going to do is have it come out a bit later this time, kind of as a thank you to people who are donating, just to say, you can have the first chance to go away and read this.
It, yeah. So we're gonna put the PDF online in a month.
Yeah, a month after Desolation of Stockport.
Yeah. So it means that anyone who had everyone who helped us in the first issue has been amazing, and we wanted to give a way of thanking those people, and the only real way we could do that is to give them exclusive content. Yeah. So you'll only be able to get it as the magazine, and it's not just the people at Desolation of Stockport. Anyone can get it, and we'll post it out to you. But you'll only be able to get the physical one for the first month, and after that we'll release the PDF for free.
Yes.
Because we're lovely like that.
Yeah.
And we hope you like it.
Yeah.
So excited. So excited.
Cool. Well, shall we get on to a comic review?
Why not?
Why not? Okay, so what did we talk about last week, Damian?
We talked about the subscribe. We didn't talk about anything last week because we were away for Easter.
Good.
Happy Easter, by the way. Hope you had a break.
That's why we got confused about the tea toast. Of course.
We talked about the subscribers' dream movies.
Yes.
They recast them.
Yes, and we also talked about our first hobby goals, which was cool. I think quite a few people commented on their first hobby goals, and it was to attend a single tournament and to win one single game, which seems to be quite
pretty achievable.
Yeah, but I think that's for most people. People want to try to get themselves to a tournament, and it's a big thing going to your first tournament, and then they think they want to win at least one game just to kind of show that it's not. They're not stupid.
I think what's nice is they normally do, because that's the great thing about SBG, that we were saying I did that at my first tournament, and then you end up winning 3 because the depth of the game is very deep.
Yeah.
So
the depth of the game is
very deep.
That's strong.
It's a very deep game. It's a game with great depth that you can come into it, and if you know the rules, have a chance of beating anyone.
Yeah. Of course.
I got smashed by Tom Seacombe in his 6th ever game.
Yep, and that was against the Ferals.
Yeah, a tournament I was going there to win. Ed's drawn against kids with his Fel Beasts and stuff, and
it can just happen.
It does, and it's brilliant. And
that's why it's a great game.
Yeah, and so I think a lot of people then win more games than they think, and then they come to more events, which is wonderful.
Yeah. So that's what we talked about last time. I didn't notice, I see you supping on tea now, that you were stealing my tea. I had no idea until I read the comments, so...
I don't know what you're talking about.
If he does anything else in the episode, you need to tell me in the comments.
I know what that is. They're lying.
They're lying.
Yeah, I don't know what. Okay. Crazy people.
Okay. Trivia. We did some trivia last week.
We did. And every week.
What was your question?
My question was, and I need to phrase this right, who moved faster?
Right.
Which team were quicker out of the dwarfs, Thorin's Dwarf and Company, and Frodo and Sam?
Okay.
And it was in getting to their goal.
Yeah, so Mount Doom
and
Lonely Mountain.
Yeah.
So we've got a little bit of a problem here because it's a bit odd with the way we word it. So you've got speed and distance and time. So look at
him, his little science there going nuts.
Little GCSE science. So the
diameter is twice the radius.
So are you wanting not on bold space, that's a disaster. So are you wanting the speed? Who was quickest?
Who was moving the fastest?
Okay, it's actual speed.
Yeah.
So the average speed as they did their distance in a specific time.
Yeah.
And who is it?
It is Frodo and Sam.
It's Frodo and Sam, and that's not what a lot of you thought. No. Most people put in Thorin's Company, but you may have been slightly confused on.
But also, the Fellowship journey, the Lord of the Rings journey is shorter calendar-wise than The Hobbit as well. The Hobbit takes 13 months. The Fellowship takes, Lord of the Rings takes a year. So in terms of the return is less time as well. But yeah, at speed, Frodo and Sam, because they moved further in a very similar amount of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frodo and Sam were moving quicker than the dwarves.
On average. Because the dwarves did stop, they were shut in jail for a long time. You don't get that impression in the film.
Yeah, longer than the film. But then they cut all that out of the movies as well, of Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, they don't stop in Rivendell for a long time, they don't stop in Lothlorien for a long time.
Tom Bombadil.
Oh, Tom, hey, Merry Dog.
We've got him back in.
Yeah. All I want to do is get him out.
Cool. So
yeah, we're not going to read it, because it was a 50-50 punt, we're not going to read out everyone. But the answer is Frodo and Sam, or, you know, Fellowship.
Yeah, I guess Frodo and Sam got to the goal.
And so if you got that, then you have won the chance to go and buy yourself a Frodo.
Yes, you
so
do.
Congratulations.
I guess if no one gets it right, then we get to eat Frodo.
Yeah.
So that's your penalty. If no one gets it right, we eat a Frodo on camera, just to rub it in. My trivia question was, how long are the 3 extended editions back to back?
Of the Lord of the Rings.
Of the Lord of the Rings, yes. Because we don't have a Battle of Five Armies extended at the moment, sadly. So, now, depending on what source you look at, there are some slightly different numbers that come out of this, so I guess it depends where exactly they start and end it.
I also think it depends on credits.
Credits,
depends whether people include credits.
And I think we're going for the including credits one here. So, some of you might have been thrown off by that. Now, quite a few of you said you had a number at the back of your head. And a lot of you went for those numbers, and there were some people who were incredibly close, a minute out, 2 minutes out, 5 minutes out. So people generally knew the right time, and even people who didn't know the exact time could at least make I know it's this, plus this, plus this, plus or minus 30 minutes. So
it's got to be about 11 and a half. It's got to be 3.5 plus 3.5 plus 4.5.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And it is 11 hours and 33 minutes. So, unlucky for those, I think J22 said 34 minutes.
No good.
So,
thanks for the game this week. But no good. Is that the closest? Did no one get it right?
Yes, one person got it right.
One person.
One person can have a Frodo this week.
Some giant nerd.
Some giant nerd indeed.
Some stupid, loser, rubbish man with silly hair. Got it right. Who was it?
It wasn't Jamie.
Oh!
It was Sam Page.
Oh, sorry, Sam. Oh no.
Sam Page got it correct. And why did he get it correct?
Because he remembered it from the Long Bottom Carnival quiz, I reckon.
Still good memory.
Yeah, top memory. Well done, Sam. You have won the chance to buy yourself a Frodo. And knowing you, I'm sure you'll take that chance.
Yes. So anyway, do we have a trivia question for this week?
I have a trivia question.
Go on then.
My trivia question this week is how many... Which one should I go for? How many special rules are there in the Hobbit rulebook?
Now, do you mean special rules in profiles or special rules in the rules section?
Special rules section.
Right.
So, a special rule is bodyguard. Another special rule is woodland creature.
Okay.
I'm giving you a clue, there are at least 2. And there's, I think there are 3 pages, possibly only 2 pages of special rules, and 3 pages of magical powers. But how many of those generic special rules are there in the rulebook? So we just want one number, please.
Go for it.
Ideally the right one.
Yes. Cool.
Yourself?
Interesting.
Thanks.
I don't know the answer to yours. I'd have to think. I'm not going to do
Don't
that
look
now.
it up. Remember the rules. That's the whole point. I know that everyone got the book.
We can't. I doubt you can Google that. you'd have to sit and look in the book and count.
Yeah, but don't.
Don't. Yeah.
Otherwise, the Frodo will melt in your hands.
It'll be dragon sickness on Frodo.
Yeah.
Anyway, my question is, who is the 4th most mentioned character in the Hobbit book? Now,
The
bear with me a
4th?
second.
That's very specific.
So the reason I've gone for 4th is that the top 3 are pretty obvious. In order, it's Bilbo, Thorin,
Ori,
Gandalf.
Oh.
So what I'm asking for is, behind Bilbo, Thorin and Gandalf, who is the most mentioned character in the Hobbit book? What I mean by mentioned character, I don't mean they've got a line, I just mean their name appears in print.
That's a good question.
Full name appears in print.
They're fauna.
I think so, yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I like that. Cool. So there you go.
Clue is it's not Ori.
It's not Ori.
No.
Spoilers.
Yeah. There you go. So, yeah, have a punt at that one. I don't think anyone will actually know.
No internet and no books. It's naughty.
Yeah.
You got to use your own clever brains.
Unless there's some Sporkle quiz like they do with Harry Potter and they have them in order, so people should know if they do the Sporkle quiz.
I don't know what that means.
Not been on Sporkle? It's
Later.
later.
Alright.
Right, anyway, so yes, other things that we talked about, when we were talking about the characters the actors that we wanted to play, specific characters or actresses, people commented on my lack of film knowledge.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's an absolute caveman. He's a complete Luddite for any form of technology. And you don't watch anything, or really, do you?
No, I just, since university and at university and after university, I just don't really watch things, particularly.
There were comments saying, "Does Tom not watch films?" I mean, that's a huge sentence, you know. Like, no, I don't think he does. I think just it must have been that I haven't watched it. It must have been you go, "Who's that? Who's that? Who's that?"
Yeah.
But no, he doesn't.
No, I don't.
He barely functions.
Yeah. I just don't know the names of many actors or actresses, to be honest. Damian is much better on that because he has a lot more time to waste. Anyway, there was a cracking comment from Dave McShirra. Are we recasting The Hobbit in 2 weeks' time? Because I have some suggestions for Brian Blessed.
It was Dave who wanted Brian Blessed to play everyone in Lord of the Rings, wasn't it? Excellent, yeah. 13 Brian Blesseds. Yeah. Imagine the song of The Lonely Mountain.
Yeah.
Far over! They're great.
Be better than the radio edition.
Yeah, done. There's no need to recast The Hobbit now, because we've done it with Brian Blessed.
Done. Dave McShirra also had a good comment saying he usually, what he did was he started watching the intro and he's like, it's alright, I'll get my paints after
The Hobbit?
No, to the Palantir.
The Palantir, okay.
Yes. Started watching the intro to the Palantir, it's alright, I'll get my paints when the intro's done. And then an hour later, he hadn't got his paints. So we should have flagged this at the start, but Dave, get your paints.
Get your paints.
And then anyone else who isn't painting at this point,
get your paints.
Get your paints.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to look at us.
No, particularly not this week. It's all a bit SBG tired this week. Yeah. All a bit run down.
Yeah.
Tifa.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something good to look at.
Yeah.
And the background's pretty good.
If I had to choose things to look at in this frame, I would go Tifa.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
The Artex wall.
Yeah.
Everything else, you.
Cheers.
That's right.
I'm glad you're there for me.
Yeah. That's cool. All the time to waste comment.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure there was another funny comment from somebody.
Do you want a comment review?
It is like I've been looking at words so often recently that having to look at more words is a lot. So, Larry Miller had a question for people. He said, Tom's the only person I've ever heard of who uses enamel paints, because I was talking through my original Minds of Moria set and using enamel paints. So what he was on the lookout for is somebody else in the community who uses enamel paints and not water-based.
Okay.
Is there somebody out there?
Should we try and find out?
Yeah.
Alright. No. Sorted. There isn't. It's just you weirdo. By all means, yeah. If any other like half-dressed cavemen out there, like, just painting in their caves, you know, whenever someone shows them a TV, they just throw rocks at it. Wizardry. But yes, does anyone else paint with Humbrol paints?
Yeah, you don't get a Freddo if you do. I mean, but
yeah, give Tom a friend.
It could be Revel. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be Humbrol.
No, of course
there are
not.
other brands.
Other brands are available. Other brands of bizarre paints are available.
Lily picked me some up from Homebase. I'm going way off topic here, but Lily picked up some paints, and I saw them and I was like, well, they're water-based, aren't they?
Get them out of the house.
Yeah. So go and return them. No.
Yeah. Do it again.
I went to Homebase.
Did you smash them on the floor as well first? Clean it up.
So what was a lovely gift? She'd selected some nice browns for me. because she was like, "What colour can you get?" I'm like, I don't know the numbers, to be honest. It's not like GW where you have names for them, but I don't remember any of them. So she just selected some. But anyway, enough of talking about Umbral and Rebel paints.
Enough of talking about the way you put Lily down again and again.
That was nice. I said it was a great thing for her to do, pick up the paints.
But you did it wrong.
Did I? Yeah, but you did it wrong. But
great thing to do. Just do it right next time. Brilliant. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. We got one comment asking whether we're going to the Salute show on the 25th.
No.
April.
Because we're going to Destination Stockport.
Yes.
But if you're not going to get Destination Stockport, go to Salute because it's awesome. That's
Yes.
a massive wargame show at the Excel. I think it is. I haven't looked at it this year because I knew it was Destination Stockport weekend, but it's normally the Excel in London.
Mm-hmm.
Huge wargame show. But no, alas, I would love to go to it, but it's always the Destination Stockport weekend.
Yeah. Okay, so discussion topic. We got a comment from Tom Turtle who asked,
Mm-hmm.
You've just taken my comment.
Oh, no. Go on.
I need to read what he asked, otherwise I have no idea.
No.
He said, in light of the upcoming general election for those outside of the UK, there is going to be a general election in the UK.
Politics.
Yes, why not discuss wargaming politics? So what, I don't know, what are Rohan doing with the NHS? What's that?
That what you
What would they do if Theoden was in charge?
We could. I bet there's some great puns in this.
Yeah.
We could have done something with, we should have prepared this.
Yeah.
Like with Labour.
David Camrohan.
Oh, it's good, David Cameron. Cameron, that's good. That's strong. That's very strong. Now what you're going to do is sit there and watch us try and think up
of another
election
one.
puns for half an hour. Great content.
That is
Keeps the timer ticking along. Is that it?
Probably.
Probably. Yeah, so, write in with your British politics puns. Please.
Yeah. Lay Boromir.
Rubbish. You've
No.
gone right off the
No.
ball. Stop
Okay.
it.
Okay. Gone right off the boat. So anyway, so what does he mean by politics, Damian?
He was talking about the one that interested me was the unspoken do's and don'ts in a game.
Do roll sixes.
Yes.
Don't roll ones. Unless you're fainting. Don't roll
Very
twos.
bad.
Twos are probably the worst. Unless you bulk, charging,
Bulk
Merkid
with Merkid
elves.
Rangers.
Merkid Rangers, yeah.
These twos to wound, re-rolling ones.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
that. Yeah. So, about etiquette.
Okay.
What do you expect from an opponent, Thomas? I'll put that to you.
Okay. It depends, because a lot of the people on the tournament team now you've kind of met before, but if you're meeting someone new, you want them to be obviously amicable when they start. So you want them to start chatting to you. Talk about, so generally when you first meet someone at the table, you shake hands, oh, it's really cool, I'm going to play you. Never played you before, always a good way to go. Have a look at each other's armies, explain what about your army, so don't expect your opponent to know all of the special rules about your army. So if your models have any special rules, tell them about that before the game, so there's no like sneaky surprise later on being like, oh, by the way, this guy can do this, or they've all got elven cloaks. So yeah, if you've upgraded equipment, let them know, those kind of things. So that's always a good thing to start with, why. And then if you want general chatter about the armies, that's sometimes nice as well. And then if it's nicely painted, tell them it's nicely painted. It's nice. If it's nicely themed, tell them it's nicely themed.
You got to be honest right at the start, haven't you? That's
Yeah.
why I think you kind of, in that bit where you have to, he hasn't got a shield and no one will care.
Yeah.
But you say it then, you don't say it.
Yeah, you want
when
to
you've
try to
chosen
point everything
not
out
to
at the start.
target him with a bow.
Yeah, and you want to say, be clear, be like, this one's the captain.
You
This
get it
one's-
with things like if you're using normal AMR as Knight of the Palantir, which most people are going to be absolutely fine with. He's got an armoured horse, so your elf shoots at him, and am I doing this right?
No,
No, your
normal.
normal bowman. Yeah, a bowman shoots at him, and for whatever this is a bad example, but a bowman who can pick his target shoots at him and doesn't shoot at the knight. I've gone off the wall. I've lost it.
They hit the horse.
it is
They're
right,
about
it
to
hits the
roll
horse.
to wound.
Yeah, and they needed 5, but because it's an armoured horse, they actually needed 6,
Yeah.
and in that case, they wouldn't have shot at him in the first place.
Yes.
That sort of thing.
Yes.
Because you're trying to kill, you've got one bowman, you're trying to kill the horse, and maybe you
Yeah.
wouldn't have done it. Oh, well, if I knew it was him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort
Yeah.
of thing. Now, rearrange some of those words into a coherent
Yeah.
sentence,
Yeah.
and it'll make.
And I'd always like to say, you know, if I had things like Latham Court, I'd like to say these are fight 6 and point those things. Or room, he's got the special rule where they re-roll a 6.
So
Those kind of things, so people remember.
yeah, that's an interesting point, isn't it? That the whose imperative is it to know the rules?
I think if you've got specialised things in your army, you should say that to your opponent.
Yeah.
I know other people will disagree, but I think if we're talking about etiquette, then you should do that.
So you would.
Or at least give your opponent a
forthcoming
chance to
with
say, because many people say, so what have you got in your army? So you should tell them what you've got in your army.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, they can just, if in doubt, just ask them anything special that anyone does.
Yeah.
That's your way round. And then if they don't tell you anything special, then they're obviously...
I guess if you had something like the Master of Lake Town, who you don't see a lot
Yeah.
in your opposing enemy army, you might want them to remind you that they pick one of your heroes, and if you get into base contact with him, then he gets removed.
Yeah, or Greenman.
Yeah.
Show them
And
in your war.
it's that kind of thing where it's like, if they're not forthcoming with that information, then you're never going to try and get your hero into that Master of Lake Town. And I think, yeah, I agree, because I like to, the way I play it, and this is very different to my memories of Warhammer as well, which links onto something else Tom said, that I don't want to win a game because my opponent didn't know the rules. I want to win a game because I earned it.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, there's definitely been times where, you know, someone's been about to do something in a game and I've gone, well, hang on, you know, I don't know, whatever it is, there's no point in doing that special strike because blah, blah, blah. And you don't want to kind of come away from that going, oh, well, I won that game, but if I'd have told him, not cheating, it's very important. I'm not saying that you've been deceitful, but if an opponent enemy model is within range of fury, their own fury,
and you
kill them, I would tell them.
I'd tell them.
And I think you do. I'm not doing that altruistically.
No.
I think you're doing it because it encourages a fun game.
Yeah.
And then you know you'll get it back.
Yeah.
When you then forget something.
Yeah, and there's things like that, because you did that with Ed, didn't you? You forgot to move Grima on or something. What was it? Was it?
Oh yeah, no. It was one of the final games against Ed at the Mansfield tournament, and I deployed him with it was a 6x4 board, and I deployed him with a Fell Beast, and he deliberately brought the Fell Beast on the short edge, so that Grima was miles away from everyone. So then and it was incredible. It was a really fun game, but very, very tactical, and you're concentrating a lot. And Grima's over here doing nothing in the game, and there was, I think on turn 3, I suddenly remembered Grima. So like, you know, because immediately obviously the Fell Beast has come over here because Ed's unlikely to get one of his 4 Fell Beasts. He's come over here, and I was like, oh, I've got Grima, and I'll never forget. Ed went, right, look, I forgot him, but it wouldn't have affected anything. Can I move him? And you went, go on then. Like that, and I went 12 inches. He went, no, 6. It was very much like, yeah, fair enough. I think, yeah, okay, because I forgot him 2 turns running. I was like, all right, I'll have one move. Yeah. But I do think that, and I did a similar thing to James Braun, where one game where he'd gone, I think he'd gone past his movement. This was at Destination Stockport, and there was a wild warg around here that he'd obviously forgotten about, and it was I think it was the same turn. I was like, well, move him. It's like I couldn't have stopped him. Yeah. And you kind of go, oh, really? It's like, yes, because then when I forget about an elf, you'll do the same. And that's not the reason you're doing it, but it's like, that's the kind of game I would like to play.
Yeah. The only reason you kind of stop on things like that is if you're... So, like, things like the Heroic Strike can... Sometimes it's fine if people forget, depending on... But if there was a chance that if they'd Heroic Struck and you would have said, well, hang on, I would have Heroic Combated then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then it gets difficult because... Then sometimes if you've done lots of stuff, like you've already played out one of your hero's moves who was nearby, and it's like, well, if you'd done that, then I would have done something to prevent you from doing that.
As soon as if you're in the same phase, because it's on you, isn't it? If the opponent's made a mistake, it's on you to say yes, and I think you can make that kind of call. Go, no, you know what? That would have affected something. So if it wouldn't have affected it.
Yeah. So we're not saying you have to say yes to everything that somebody asks you, but the etiquette is to if you put yourselves on the other side of the table and you'd forgotten to do whatever, moved a model, shot with a model, and you've just started the first combat, and you're like, oh well, hang on, I actually forgot to shoot with these 3 guys who are hidden over here, then obviously you should allow those kind of things.
I also, another way I like to think of it is there anything I could have done to stop that? And that's a good kind of barometer for me. That's like, can I call a heroic strike with
like
him?
the Fury one, or if someone whatever forgets to do rend or those kind of ones, because there's nothing you can do at that point.
Yeah. But if you had if you've got Fury and they forget to do it, it's like I couldn't have got you not to use Fury.
Or channeling blinding light. You get to your move and you're like, oh, I wanted to channel to do blinding light. It's like, well, what am I going to do? I'm just going to move. I steal your move. Like, there's nothing I could have done. Yeah. So
a heroic move from the other side of the table wouldn't stop that happening.
No, so that's fine. So yeah, another.
But the way it goes the other side, that's a good example. Imagine this is where it's not okay. I think, and I've had people try this, not necessarily intentionally, but you have these 2 battle lines like this. This wizard here and this wizard here, and you do a heroic. Say 2 heroes call a heroic move. You have the roll off, and this side wins. They start, and then they go right. So I meant to channel, and you were in charge range of your hero of the wizard. And it's like no, because if I'd have won the roll off, you wouldn't have channeled. Yeah. Because then I could have charged and risked it. And it's like, that's the thing, you have to, when it makes a difference, you have to have declared it at the start because...
when there was a risk to you.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's important.
Yeah. Another key thing is that, this is another etiquette thing, is when it gets to the start of a turn, just say out loud, any heroics.
Yeah.
Because it reminds people, every phase, just say, any heroics. Yeah. And you could be saying it to yourself to remind yourself.
The same if you're playing against Alfred. Assuming you're playing against Alfred and you've still got Will, if he's on the opposing side, I tend to now try and say Alfred, because you don't want to get to that point where you go right, okay, next turn. Because I think I've heard this discussed. I don't think it was us, but it's on one of the videos, James and Jamie, where people then go right, next turn priority, and you chuck the dice. It's like, well, I wanted to do Alfred. And go, well, we've rolled it now. So that's not. No. That's silly. Yeah. So I think you do that, and then you get priority, and then I always go right. Any heroics from you?
Oh, Palantir, that's the one you also missed. Saruman's Palantir.
Yeah, that's the same as the Alfred thing. I think that was the example rather than Alfred. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, well, I don't want to see you roll.
I do that a bunch of times. When I used to take Saruman, they go, right, priority, I go, no, and you have to kind of go, no, don't roll it. And I go, why? And then you have to think, because it's not like...
It's like, I might want to, and you go, I don't know yet.
And then a minute later, it's fine, roll your dice. But I could want to use that Palantir. Yeah. And I think, but the Palantir, the difference between that and the Alfred thing is seeing the opponent's dice can make a difference. Yeah. If it was Alfred and you see your opponent's dice, then you're still
does if he's in charge range, or does he?
No, because he uses it before priority. Yeah, but he doesn't use it in the priority phase. He uses it before, so it's like.
Yeah, but you might want to hang on another go if you want priority, back him away to the hero you want to give it to, as opposed to another one potentially. Yeah. There's smaller odds on that.
But yes, it's all that. It's that kind of thing. If there was nothing, if you've kind of fast forwarded the game accidentally, then it's like, oh yeah, fair enough, do what you want. I chucked my dice too soon. I think that's
another big one is never ever be negative in a game. As in constantly negative. Like, fair enough if you have an almighty boss be like, oh my word, but you need to laugh off anything like that. It's a game, and like, even if you feel you might be losing, like, you're there to enjoy yourself. Don't have a negative spin on the game and make it bad for your opponent who's winning. Yeah. And equally, if you're there kind of crushing your opponent, try to make it fun for them.
It's a hell of a lot easier.
Like, I don't usually crush an opponent, but
it's a hell of a lot easier for it to be fun when you're winning, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, you do have to have kind of a bit of self-deprecating. If you're smashing someone, you kind of do the whole kind of, it's bad luck. It's all obviously going with me. I've definitely had games where you cringe, you go, and you apologise for the dice, and you go, the fifth roll off in a row, you've won. It's like, and it was interesting. I was playing against Jay, and we had a similar thing where I think I won 3 heroic moves in a row, and that's what you remember. Yeah. But we were saying, I think Jay had won 3 priorities, which had caused me to call a heroic move. Yeah. And that's actually 50-50, isn't it? Yeah. he wins 3 of those roll-offs,
Yeah,
I
in
win 3 of
terms of
those. You know,
the probability.
Yeah.
Then, But
and I think that's the sort of thing that happens, that if you get fixated on the dice and things like roll-offs, maybe you forget about winning the fight.
Yeah.
So like, I always lose the roll-offs, but how many fights did you win that then didn't go to a roll-off?
Yeah. And this is another etiquette thing. Don't blame a defeat on dice.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you got to the really important thing and Boromir does a triple one and Boromir dies, he's your leader on the last turn, it all goes wrong.
Yeah.
But you should always say well played to your opponent, and don't make him feel as if they've won just because you rolled badly.
It's a dice game, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like if you win the game, it's because of the dice. If you lose the game, it's because of the dice. It's like that's the nature of it.
Yeah.
And I always, there's been very, very, very few games that I've honestly seen. I genuinely believe most games even
Balance
out.
out, yeah.
And there's very few I've seen that don't. The one that sticks in my head is the battle report from issue 1 of SBG where you were playing James and Kieran.
Yeah.
And it's just horrendous. It's on the PDF online if you haven't read it, but it's just like everything goes Tom's way. Everything.
Every single World Cup courage test in the battle I passed, and they pass on at 8. An 8. So I rolled
all the roll-offs.
And
the thing is, because it's a battle report, you can actually analyse it. Yeah. It's not kind of the psychology. No. Remember, it's to go back good. No, it's everything. Everything good goes with it. And like Gandalf's fate rolls were like 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, it's 2. Just, like this sort of thing, and it's just appalling. But that's the only. Normally, I go, oh God, if only. I had it against Callum actually quite recently at East Grinstead, where I was like, in the last turn, Thrain failed a heroic combat, and I was like, oh, if only he had done that and then killed this guy, I would have won. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, but what if my other guy who killed someone hadn't done that?
One little thing.
And then I would have, it goes both ways.
But when it was 7 big things all in a row,
And so I think that's it. You remember the big rolls, but then forget about all the times you won priority, all the other fights you won.
But I think the key thing to like being a good or very good player is when you get good luck, you need to capitalise on it, and when you have bad luck, you need to minimise it as well as possible. Like you need to cater for those examples. And obviously, if you do something a horrendous boss when you're trapped, you're in trouble, and you'll remember that boss. But let's say you'd positioned it differently so that when he wasn't trapped when he did the boss, then it's not as bad.
Yeah, well,
so you minimise.
The skill of the game is in putting yourself in a situation where the dice are more likely to go in your favour.
Yes.
Like that. That's it. It's always going to come down to the dice.
Yeah.
If you've got 8 attacks, and against one guy in the middle with 1 attack, you can roll 8 once. That's possible. Mm-hmm. But you put yourself in the situation to have 8 instead of 2, because then it's less likely.
So yeah, those are some etiquette things. Is there anything else? I think also, different people have different opinions on this, because some people want to, they don't want the game to be dragging. They want to get through as many turns as possible. They don't want to feel as if people are wasting time. But there is, some people enjoy having a chatty kind of game, whereas other people want a more we're focused on the models kind of game. So I think that one's you've got to play it by ear with your opponent.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think it. What's nice now is that having been to loads of tournaments and knowing a lot of the people, you have a very you have a free hand with almost each player. Mm. You have your own little personal. Yeah. Whenever you rock up to someone, you're like, oh, so you took me last time, or I got you, and you know that, all right, so we're going to have this kind of game. Yeah. And you know where you are with that player. I don't really know you, so we'll probably just have a relatively polite but serious game. Yeah. Whereas, I play against you, it's like we're probably going to call each other, we'll swear at each other throughout it, and be far, far ruder, and maybe actually play a harsher game.
We have played harsher.
Yeah, we did it at a tournament, didn't we?
Which we'd never do ever do in a practice, in a chilled game or a friendly game.
But it was that kind of, I'm going to play like this, I'm going to play like this, because we could both win this event. And it was, alright. But it's that understanding.
But I don't think I'd have done that if I was playing for the event against someone else, potentially.
Well, I agree.
Because it all depends on who you're playing as to how you play. Other people may play the same way against everybody, okay? But I think it's a good thing to adjust how you play relative to the opponent. If you know your opponent likes a challenge in the game, then play as if, don't give anything in that game, particularly. Whereas if I'm playing a new player, I'll generally be like, don't worry about that, or well, wait, don't you shouldn't really do your stand pass with him first because you should do it with them, or those kind of, you can give a few tips in a game, and
there's a very
it goes a long
thing,
way.
I think, because I've played a lot of like young players, and there's a tricky thing between wanting to help them and say we'll do this, and then trying to beat yourself.
Yeah.
And there is a line in there that I've found quite tricky sometimes. It's like, you see people like you say move stuff and do something. Go, well, no, move that, do the stand fast. But then I know what I'm planning to do next turn because I'm still fundamentally trying to win the game. It's like, and I'm not going to tell you how to counter that.
Yeah, because the thing that I used to do a lot is that, so when we were playing, we'd get to the fight phase and we'd look along at, is anyone trapped? That's the first thing you do.
Oh, me and you.
For because whoever's got priority, they're going to look for any enemy models trapped.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll do those first. And that's just an obvious thing that you do. So then when it's someone else's priority against me, what I do is I do the exact same thing, look through and be like, well, he's trapped, he's trapped, so we do those one first. And it's like, I'm giving you you might not do that, you might go along the line.
That's the sort of thing you'd do for a new player.
But I'd tell them, I generally would be like, well, he's trapped, so you probably want to do him first.
Because again, there's nothing you can do about that. That's just them not being maybe experienced enough and sharp enough on the rules. And you would want to say to them, well, surely you're there to encourage them.
But you do it on turn 2, and then you don't do it again. So you do it, you kind of give them that tactic, and then say, next few times. Because I felt bad in some games by doing the whole. There's some things that are a little more sneaky. So one would be sorceress blasting a model into a mounted hero, so the mounted hero is knocked off their horse. And I think I did that to James Baldwin, and I kind of went, I'm really sorry.
Sorceress blasting a model into a combat.
No, not into a combat.
Sorry, sorceress blasting a model in a combat so that everyone goes down.
That one's horrific. You've done that on me horribly and sees the price. But there's those ones like that where they're like, I'm sorry, it's a bit of it's a nasty one. And then I was like, but for next game you won't put someone in front of Saruman now. Yeah. You'll let Saruman do the resisting.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get knocked off his horse. So there's some like that where sometimes if you're doing a more devious move like that you might want to be like, sorry.
But then equally there's a lot of that with commanding when if you're playing someone who's not particularly experienced playing against wizard, and you manage to they bring someone forward because they're out of charge range, and you command them and jump on them. It's like, whoops. But then you go and that you then teach them. You then need to be careful.
Did with James.
Huh?
Like you did with James.
He did it twice.
Quiet.
Quiet got commanded twice of it. But he said himself that playing those tournaments he wasn't used to playing wizards.
The same, it'll be the same with everyone. If you've not played a wizard before and you play someone who knows how to play a wizard, there'll be some moments in the game where you're like, right, I now know not to stand in a big line so I get sorceress blast. I know not to have someone out on a limb so they can be commanded away.
I played Ed's Fell Beasts. I think I've definitely been beaten by them twice before I beat them. And the only reason I beat them after that was because I'd lost to them twice.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that's that sort of army that's so specific, so specialised that you can't think of how it's going to beat you. There was actually a post on Facebook today about someone, I can't remember, I won't say who it is, I can't remember, but it's just saying I can't see how that, I've seen someone use it and it was awful. It's like, they probably didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
But it's like, but he was then saying, I can't, why would it be any good? There's only 3 models, yada yada yada. So well, play it.
Yeah.
But the only way I was able to beat that was having been smashed by it, and so you go, right, so his models, they move 12, and so that's their charge range, but I need to be more than 12 away because he'll move 6, command 1, 3, charge in. So I've actually got to be 15 and a bit inches away to be safe for his ring. And those sort of things, and it makes you a better player.
And you know that they're going to go for your hero straight away, so you put hero and you ring the hero to stop them being pulled out
multiple concentric rings to stop the heroic combats. It's the key to victory.
You don't put things like fury up because they'll sap your will, those kind of things. So
those things, they all, and I always remember being very appreciative to Ed that even the first time I played him, I think I'm not quite sure his conversions. They're not all exactly the right ones, are they?
No.
He use the Dark Marshal as
Yeah.
the Knight of Umbar
Yeah.
or something like that?
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But he was I was kind of like, who's he? Who's he? Who's he? And throughout the game, and I still do it a bit to this day. Like, okay, that's Kamul. I was like, when there's 6, I was like, he's the Nick your fight one, and he's the, and Ed's very kind of this one will kill you in this way, this one will kill you, and that's nice because I think when you're playing that many special rules, you need to be able to be able to say, oh, he does this, he does this, even though it's second nature to him, and he's very forthcoming with that.
I was thinking this on the etiquette one with Ed's stuff. So Ed has lots of will that he's crossing out and bumping back up. So what's the etiquette on writing other players' might, will and fate down? And wounds?
This is interesting.
I personally don't. I know people who do.
Yeah, Jamie does it.
Yeah, Jamie does it.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I think it's more so that they know without asking. I will ask how much might has someone got left, but Jamie can, because he's crossed it off as you have, he can just flick at it and knows without having to ask you how much might have you got left with that hero, because he knows.
But it is also an insurance policy.
Yeah, but no one cheats, but sometimes you might forget. Yeah. That's just happens. I'm sure that I've done it before. Yeah. In the heat of the moment, you'll roll a fate, you won't remember to cross it off. You usually would. The key thing is though, always write it down. Do not do it in your head. Yeah. You will not remember.
I don't like that. That's what I don't like. When if you ever come up against someone and they go, right, so he's down to 2, and I always stand there and go, okay, and you're going, you're going to write that, but then I will then offer to do it on my sheet.
If someone doesn't start writing stuff down, then by all means write it down yourself,
because you can't.
It's easy to forget.
Yeah, it's easy to get it wrong when you are recording it, let alone when you're not. Yeah. So I definitely.
And it is important.
It's so important, and you get to that last turn. He goes, all right, so here's use his last might point. You go, no, he used it. You go, no, he hasn't. And then you're going, oh, and
because you feel horrible because you don't want to be like, well.
And I say I know I'm right, but assuming they're not cheating, which they're probably not. No, they also know they're right. Yeah. And then at what point, what the hell do you do? Yeah. And unless you can, it's very hard to remember every usage of it. So he had 3 might. He called a right move. He called a right move, and I was like, but then no, he won a fight. He used it to bump a fight. Yeah. No, he didn't. I thought about doing that, but I didn't.
So it gets very tricky. The most important.
I tend to repeat it. Yeah. Now. That's what I've come. That's what I've got.
So he's used the might.
Yeah, he's going to use the might. Right. So he's down to 3. Yeah. And he's down to 2. Yeah. And so that kind of he's using one, but then reiterating what he is. Yeah. So that then next thing you have that kind of added bit of going. No, because remember last time he was down to 2. Yeah, I think that helps.
Another nice etiquette thing, I'll come on to the roll-offs later because that popped into my head, let's not forget about that. But is when we were playing, and I do this a lot against people, is I'll talk about my tactics out loud sometimes when there's an agonising decision. I'll be like, well, he could do this, and I know you probably don't want to give away what you're doing, but sometimes it doesn't matter if you give away what you're doing because it's now your priority. I'm going to move somewhere, I'm going to do something, there's nothing you can do about it. Like you've won the heroic move off and you have to agonise over, do I send this hero over here, but then people have to be within 6 inches of him so they can't do what they want to do there. So I quite like talking about that aloud, and we had one where we were talking aloud about whether we were going to call heroic or not, and we didn't know which tactic was best on either of our parts.
We talked about it.
Should I do it? And you were like, I have no idea. I don't know whether you should do it. I want you to do what.
But you set out your. It was whether you'd call heroic and then whether I'd call heroic, and you said, well, this is what I want to do, and I was like, well, this is what I was going to do, and then it was like, well, do you think I should do this? I was like, I don't know, and then if you do that, should I do this? And that's nice, and you realise that you're playing for the right, but again, that's the sort of thing that's crazy as it sounds, neither of us could do anything about it, because it's like, I know, if I was you, I know what you're going to do, but I get why you're debating, and then if you're me, you know how to counter it, and that is quite nice and quite good fun. I in the same tournament against Jay, where we realised Azog was within 10 inches, and I was like, oh. And we were both going, well, I could chuck him in. I was like, but then I could get legless. And I was like, well, what should we do? Yeah. And that's fun. That's what you want to be doing.
Yeah. So here's another one on measuring. So, one thing is, I'm generally very lenient on measuring. I don't quibble over a millimetre. That's because it's a really annoying thing when people quibble over.
Get knocked.
Yeah, it happens. You could. The one thing that is good to do is if you're meant to not be in charge range, is to say, So these guys are out of charge range.
Yeah.
Then your opponent has the opportunity to just measure and be like, well, actually, he's he's a millimetre in charge range, and then you can squidge them back a little bit just to make it certain. I mean, generally what I do is I over measure. So as in, if I want to be out of charge range, I won't be 6 and 1 millimetre, I'll be 6 and 3. So which I don't necessarily have to do. It depends who you're playing, but you'd say I'm going to be out of charge range.
I've done that a lot in games with people where you just notice the tape measure and it's like they're creeping forward and you can see them doing that, and I was like, well, do you want them to be out of my charge range, right? You go, yeah, and you go, all right, and you just whack the tape measure down and go, all right, just nudge. I've literally nudged models back, and they go, there you go. And I've had people that have been quite surprised. I go, oh, okay. I was like, well, it's in your power to make them out of charge range, so we'll say they're
because this is the thing, because you can spend ages agonising over each millimetre, but it's much quicker to just be like, you meant them to be out of charge range, so even if one is in by a millimetre, I will not charge that extra millimetre. Because it just slows it down so much.
That's why I think having the friendlier game where you're talking to your opponent helps with that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The measuring thing, there's not too much of. I know people talk about over measuring, but I don't remember many games where I've been like, no, I don't. That's cheating. You're further, and I can get it. Honestly, if you've played a fairly friendly game where millimetres don't matter, you're in the last turn of domination. Your model's 6.5 inches away from the objective. In the heat of the moment, when it's winding down, I can see just that tiny little bit of you going, yeah, why not? Like that, but it's not fair.
No.
And you've got to be honest with yourself. Like, if you move them 6 and a couple of millimetres, who cares? If you move them 6 and a couple of millimetres and it gets you into an objective range, then that's going to cause an issue. Yeah,
generally on the ones that are important, you'd measure and be like, is he in? Is he not in? That's another etiquette thing that you generally do.
I do that a lot as well in the penultimate turn of those kind of games, where if you're moving people to objectives, I will kind of put him to where I want him to be, because maybe I need him to be within range of the objective, but as far away from the objective as possible, so he doesn't get charged. And then you kind of go, so is he's in range, like show him the thing like that, and then your opponent goes yes. So then when it comes round, it doesn't matter if the table's been nudged, but you go, well, he was in range, and that kind of thing's good. And I think it's just good, and I've done it as well.
Roll dice around
to avoid that. I actually did this against Jay, where one of my elves was making a run for an objective, and I realised I had a couple of turns, and so I measured, and it was really close, and I measured from the objective to him to see if he was 15.
Or 15
6 inches, 6 inches, 3 within range of the objective. And so it was like, if I move him 6, I might lose or gain a millimetre. If I move him 6, I might lose or gain a millimetre. And he was like 15.5 inches. I was like, great. So, and I showed him that. I was like, so you'll move 6, next time move 6, and you'll be in range. And I think that's kind of important sometimes. You know, you obviously don't have to do that, but that's that kind of honesty of your opponent. I was like, that looks incredibly close. And then I go, right, I've moved it. I was like, well, did you move him 6.5 inches, you know?
So another etiquette one is the bendy tape measure. So if you're trying to get round models, so this is when a model needs to charge in a curve. Now, what I do for these, because you just can't measure it with a normal tape measure. Doing the bendy doesn't work because you've got the whole base to go round, and it's hard to measure from the same point. So what I do is, one model is 1 millimetre. The base of a model, a single foot model, is a millimetre in diameter.
A millimetre?
A centimetre.
I think it was small.
An inch. An inch. It's like an inch. So if you need to be 6 inches for something, you put 6 models in there, and they can track in a curve, go the shortest distance. Then you can check absolutely whether they're in range.
I generally I'll move it. I might move a dead model.
Yeah, I'll get the dead models. That's what I do.
We'll go here, and you'll go right. 2 inches gets into there. 4 inches gets in there. I'll do something like that, because the bendy tape measure thing I hate. Yeah. Because it's like it's like you say, you take the inside edge and you go in here. It's like, but that's not all right. So that's 6, but your model will end up 2-3 inches away if you actually move the whole base, because they don't move in that kind of tight circle, and so whenever that happens, it's like, you know, you see every now and again, you see people and go, okay, that's brilliant, can we just not do that though, and just move him? But just move your model, and then every now and again I've had people go, okay, so you move him and he's out of range, and you go, alright, well, I'll move him back, and he's like an inch closer, and then you go, right, well, that's not where he was, well, let me try and measure him again, and suddenly he's in range. But I mean, obviously that's not right. But
yeah, so with that one, but yeah, if you're needing to fit through gaps as well, pick up a model from your dead pile and see if they can fit through.
Yeah.
And on all of these, if it's within a millimetre, it depends. If it's a friendly game, let them have it. If it's a tense game, do a roll off.
Yeah.
Like, I still don't quibble over a millimetre. Don't be like, well, he's clearly out. Well, it's a millimetre. Like when it's.
I mean, it depends. If you're talking about a millimetre, then yeah.
Well, if it's
because you get your hand shaking a bit.
Yeah.
You know,
you can knock the model.
over,
You knock the model.
That sort of thing bugs me. It's like if you get down to you're 6 inches away and you get down to measure it, and you go all right, and you've got to be really careful. And I think if you've got to be really careful, then it's bloody obvious that he's in. Like already, if you've got to be so careful to line it up that you're gonna, it's got to be, you're clearly within the right range. But then you move and you absolutely nudge it, and it's like, well, he's out. It's like, yeah, he's out because the model got moved. It's like, yeah, but we don't know where he was now. It's like, and it's like, I think most people play like this. I don't think we're saints. I think this is the great thing about the community. But it's then if you then go and play a game where someone doesn't do that, and go, no, he's 6 millimetre. It's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, he's not in. But it's like, does that really affect the game if you let him charge there? Probably not.
Yeah. So but yeah, the big one is don't quibble about rules. Do a roll off or call a TO. TO will make a very quick decision.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter at the end of the day. TOs can make mistakes. They will make mistakes. Don't quibble about the mistake. I've had Jamie royally mess up my one against Dad.
Oh, was that Caesar Price?
Yeah.
It's good that you're over
it was funny because we were all reading the same passage in the rule book and we were like, all right, yeah, you're right, Jamie. And we were all not right.
Classic Jamie.
But it doesn't matter.
He said bringing it up.
Bitter. No.
You said something about roll-offs.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, those kind of things, they need to, if you've got a rules dispute, just do a roll-off.
No, a minute ago you said something about, I thought you meant priority.
No.
Okay.
Well, what, in what sense?
So we talked about that before, that if the wrong person rolls for the roll-off.
Yeah. Oh, the wrong person rolling for the roll-off. Interesting.
How do you feel about that?
I reckon that once someone's rolled and it's meant to be the roll-off, that's it. It doesn't.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't re-roll it.
Obviously, the player with priority is meant to do it.
Yeah, what I'd do is if I'd roll it and I realised, I'd kind of cover it up and be like, no, it's you doing it.
Yeah.
Because then it's... But if, let's say my opponent rolled it and it was my priority, I wouldn't be like, well, I've lost this one now.
I've seen people say I'm good and someone's evil. It's my priority. I've seen people go, okay, roll off, chuck it, see it land on a 4+, and go, oh no, it's your priority. And that's like, yeah, but you rolled it. Oh no, I forgot. I bet you wouldn't have forgotten if you got 1, 2 or 3. It's like, I'd be more than happy with that. If someone, as much as it's hard, and it's happening in games, someone chucks her off and goes, oh, it's fine. And sometimes it goes against you, but it's like, well, you rolled the dice.
It doesn't matter. It's literally 50-50. It doesn't matter who rolls it.
Yeah,
it's absolutely irrelevant. Yeah. You can flip a coin. I mean, the roll-off's just nicer than flipping a coin. Yeah. It does not matter who does it.
So yeah, be nice to each other.
Yes.
Everything else is just filler.
Yeah.
That's my mantra.
But don't be put off. Like no one. There's some people who want to be more competitive, but no one's going to give you a hard time in a game.
I think, if anything, all these things we're saying, these are all come out from the fact that these are the standard cases. These are what we do. These are how people play the game, like with this kind of give and take and stuff.
Chat and talk about stuff.
But yeah.
The other thing is to another good thing is sometimes to celebrate your opponent's success or commiserate with their bad rolls. Let's say your opponent boshes, make a joke out of it with them, and or if their one Minas Tirith guy on foot kills your ring wraith on Fell Beast, don't be like, well, that's rubbish.
Yeah.
Be like, wow, that was incredible.
I also try if you can, although the timescales are so crazy, seek out your opponents throughout the weekend and ask them how their other games went. Because whenever people do that to me, I always like go, oh, that's nice. Yeah. That again, it shows that you remembered the game and that you're essentially a nice person.
And you want to know how the army that you played against has done in the other scenarios. Yeah. It's a nice thing to know about.
Oh yeah. So those are
We have wittered on that
classic Palantir wittering.
one. I don't know how much politics we talked about. It was more etiquette.
Yeah, but the etiquette of politics.
But yeah,
Why
cheers
not?
for that,
Thanks
Tom.
for that, Tom. And that is our discussion topic for the week. So what do you think? I know one thing we didn't mention that James talked about at length is dead, take him off. That's his one. That's his one that he hates so much. Like, kill this dead, take him off. But that's now become like, since he said that, again, within friendly games, that's become a joke. When me and Billy played Steve and Joe at the doubles, there was loads of that where I was like, going, it's dead, take him off. Like, you know, and it's dead, take him off. And Steve's like, and then it goes well for them. You're like, oh, he's dead, take him off. Dead that, take him off.
Don't
I remember doing Thranduil. Like, we killed Thranduil, like, Steve, he's dead, take him off, mate.
So yeah, don't try and move your opponent's models off the table when you kill them. Let them do that. Let them have the pleasure.
But that one had never particularly bothered me.
Because this is another one, actually, we're about to sign off, but touching other people's models.
Oh, yes, to ask.
Yeah, because, I think that's another one. Like, don't assume, like, always be like, give them at least the look.
The eyes.
Yeah, the eyes. Can I... Yeah,
but everyone will say yes. This is
Yeah.
always the thing. Like, loads of people come over and they go, oh, do you mind if I... Well, he's obviously holding it ready. He goes, do you mind if I... And you go, oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But then someone's just going...
Yeah, that'd annoy you, but yeah. So that was one more.
Oh, and don't... Oh, the big one with models. If you knock your opponent's models down, don't knock them down.
Yeah, let them pull.
Oh, I'm very much kind
Yes.
of... Alright, so he's not down. So, do you mind? And then, you know, you need to say. And then they'll go, oh, yeah, it's fine. Go ahead.
We hate that you
Yeah.
put them on counters. Dave Nolan
counters
has
are
all those little
Not down, kind of.
gem things
No, is that what they're for?
that he has. Well, he had them for wounds on his half troll, but you could use those kind of
It's better
things
game
for
mechanic.
models that are knocked down, so you don't ruin your models.
They need soft little beds to be
Yeah.
laid down. But
Anyway, we were about to conclude.
we
So.
were indeed. So there's another week of Palantir. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you again next Friday when we will be on our way to Destination Stockport
Yes.
for a weekend tournament, which will be awesome because it's been a while. Is it your first weekend one of the year?
Full weekend.
Yeah. You didn't go
I've
to
been
doubles.
Grinstead and Titans.
Yeah, first full weekend one, and we're very very excited for the painting competition and the tournament and SBG issue 2.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll see lots of you there, and we're very much looking forward to it.
Okay.
Until then.
Yep.
Oh, and tell us what you think about your pet peeves.
Yeah.
All those things.
All the things you
annoy
like that people doing in the game.
The gaming etiquette. What are the things that bug you?
What have we missed out?
Yeah, absolutely. And does it particularly bug you when people relentlessly refuse to sign off of a video?
It's you doing it. No,
It was you last week banging on about, and then my third favourite tournament and my fourth favourite tournament. As ever, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter.
Support your Hobbit hobby.
And happy strategy battle gaming. Boom.
Boom.
Content.
Clap. Boom, de clap, de clap.